Oh, my glasses are so filthy, I can't see.
Oh, bless. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to HOGARTH'S Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, know your nation, know yourself. The two are interchangeable. Today is of course Wednesday. This is our Wednesday slot. It has just hit midnight here, UK, 10th of April 2025. I have Lady G. I think I need to point this way, but I want to go this way. But Lady G down here. Sheila should be down here, although I want to go that way. This is Sheila, and Lena is down under. And what I just want to say is, forgive me, folks, if you see me laughing at times, because it's not laughing from joy. I just feel it's almost like, I don't know how to describe the feeling.
Slap happy is what I call it. We're just slap happy. You know how you just get slapped around so much, all of a sudden at the end of it, you just start laughing because of it.
Yeah, that's right. Slap happy.
Slap happy. Yeah, this is how we can't do anything other than laugh, Hogarth.
Yeah.
It's not.
No, I think
funny.
it's true, and I think you've got to have a laugh in the face of the madness.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? It's just extraordinary what has been going on. And before we finally officially dive into the show, I have to introduce a word. Now, this is a very old school word. It's been known for a long time. Many of you in the audience may know it already, but if you don't, here's an explanation. The word, along with the phrase, Trumpocalypse, as you know, I've made that phrase a few years ago, but this is one that's been around for a long time, which I think describes the time. And hands up if you have heard of the word called Ragnarok.
Oh, no, it's new to me.
Oh, let me explain you. This today, I was saying to a friend of mine today who I was helping with his chart, I said, you know what this is? I said, this is Ragnarok. And he's like, what's this? And I've printed off the definition for you guys. Definition. So it refers to Norse myth, and it's referred to as the ultimate destructions of the gods. But I've gone for the Collins English Dictionary. This is what I found online. So it says, or Ragnarok, noun, Norse mythology, the ultimate destruction of the gods in a cataclysmic battle with evil, out of which a new order will arise. The German equivalent is Götterdämmerung. Yeah.
Oh.
Now, why am I using that word? Because
Lord of the Rings. It was in Lord of the Rings too.
Right. Yes, but it's from Norse myth. Ragnarok is a time of reckoning, of great upheaval, and wild things can happen, and a new order emerges. And if we think of what's going on with the United States and China, so ladies, before we get into the questions, what are your feelings on these? Now, we know that as where the story stands for now, the excessive tariffs, everyone's getting a blanket tariff of 10%, and the excessive tariffs are apparently being frozen for 90 days, but China has just been slapped with 125% tariff.
Yeah.
Lady G, your thoughts, then Sheila, then Lena. So Lady G.
What can you say? It's just, it's bonkers. It's crazy. I mean, at least they're starting to get pushback from Republicans in the, House or Senate. They're starting to get pushback and say, this is nuts.
Sheila, your thoughts? 125% tariffs on China.
Well, 125% on China. That's just because China's not backing down from our president bullying them. So that's all that little shenanigan is. Him pushing the can or popping the can down the road, saying, dang well he's never going to put them back on. It was all about insider trading. It was all about aligning the pockets of the billionaires. He wanted his base to stay with him long enough for him to get his hands on all of this wealth, so that they won't leave. He flip-flops in the truth, lie in the truth. Look, failing is a good thing. When we fail, we win.
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
You know.
Oh, these people they just love him no matter what.
God.
I
Oh,
know.
it's madness.
Well, this
Lena,
all comes
your
back. Well, it lands in Peter Navarro's lap, in the sense. Now, some of you may have heard the story, but
anagram.
before Trump got re-elected, Jared Kushner back in the picture, and he said to Jared, "Go find me a way I can push back on China." And so a lot of money's been wasted on education for these people. So Jared goes on Amazon and finds a book called Death by China by Peter Navarro. Now, in the book, Peter Navarro quotes extensively from the book, an economist called Ron Varro, and it turns out it's an acronym of his own name. So he's making all this up as he goes. And you don't. And
honestly, I'm not laughing out of pleasure. I'm just like,
I know.
Go on, slowly.
I know. So all of this stuff comes from Jared on Amazon. You know, like, oh, don't.
A make-believe person.
Our biggest trading partner. We've got China doing live military exercises off the coast. You know.
Yeah, because Peter whatever his name is, says
Navarro.
Yeah, he says I'm learning all of this from a professional guy.
Yes.
Who was
my alter ego.
It was fake. So he couldn't even legit, because he didn't have the credentials. So he had to pass it on to a fake person who might have the credentials to have said what he was saying. I mean,
my God.
Trump did the exact same thing back in the day. I think I forget the name, but I know the last name was Barron, something Barron. He created a publicist or something along that. He created a fake person also to exploit who he was back in the day.
Yeah.
Remember?
Oh,
and
you know,
Hogarth, what do you think?
Because you see, like this can happen, and you see me laugh, but it's not laughter in that sense. It's just like when I found out this story, you know how I've been saying like this stuff is beyond parody.
Yes.
Comedy and satire look tame to the reality of what is happening. And when you learn that this global sabotage, this Trumpocalypse and Ragnarok is based on the back of someone's fantasy alter ego, and this guy was selected for a book cover on Amazon, and the whole global economy is being literally trashed over this for someone's fantasies.
Absolute fantasy.
Trillions being locked off of American markets and global markets, people's 401ks, retirement, all of this stuff for a fantasy. Even Elon said this guy Navarro is as dumb as a sack of bricks, and then apparently he apologized to BRICS, the BRICS nations, for making that comparison. Probably one of the wittiest little jokes that he's ever had in his little whatever life. It's so astonishing. It is so outrageous. It's so out there. And do you remember in my predictions I said we're going to see stuff from this administration that we have never ever seen before? I said do you know how many people, I'm reading through the comments, a lot of people are starting to call him the Mad King. Do you remember I said it's like the Mad King has gone in reverse?
I've said that before. We had one first time around, and because he is crazy at this point.
It's crazy. I think it's a combination. He's definitely has dementia, absolutely. And I think it's also combined with, I think there's something undiagnosed, like I said, maybe late stage syphilis, something like that. I know that might sound a bit graphic, but he is in those kind of things because part of it is the euphoria as well. You get this euphoria. You're dreaming about your heydays back in the 80s and whatever, when he was feeling at his best. But they're saying that he has an Adderall addiction. And some people are actually speculating that he's going down to Mar-a-Lago so regularly for treatment. Who knows? I mean, he's still playing golf. I think it's just sheer neglect, to be honest. But shall we start the show? I'm
Let's
just
dive in.
like, wow.
And how inconvenient
Let's start the show.
Yeah, let's say how inconvenient for four of our military, how inconvenient for Trump for four of our military men to come home and him not be able to receive them because of the Saudi golf tournament. How inconvenient for the president to have had a golf tournament instead of being able to receive. And then he sends the drunk. He sends the drunk to go and receive.
Did you see the send-off that they actually got from, where was it, from Lithuania?
Yeah.
I was crying.
Yeah. The Lithuanian president gave a better, more dignified send-off for those fallen soldiers than what they got from their own president, who is playing. It's beyond parody. It's just so extraordinary.
We have videotape of Obama at midnight getting on a plane to go receive I cry. To receive them from Iraq. Oh, at midnight he flew to go receive soldiers coming home from Iraq.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Trump is so busy now, though, because he's planning his military parade for his birthday. So important.
It's just extraordinary. You know, it's just extraordinary, isn't it? The times that we're in, it's so extraordinary. That's why I use the word Ragnarok, because you need a word big enough to describe.
Big enough to capture all of it.
Yeah, bigger than COVID. I said bigger than COVID. I think it already is now. But so yes, a lot of emotions are running high, folks. So let's dive in. It's a combination of one card pulls and then maybe a two full card pulls. So we're just going to hit the ground running and just let the pace of the show just get us through it, because it's just so extraordinary. Yeah. So this one is coming from Nick Minks. So they say, another container ship goes up in flames in the North Sea. Have these incidents been accidental, or is there sabotage involved? Neptune kicking in again with shipping issues. So something that I mentioned is Neptune is back in the same sign, Sidereal Pisces, when the Titanic sank. And I said there's going to be lots of issues with ships sinking. But let's see if there's some sabotage there. One card pull, and then we'll just push on to the next one, and we'll keep going. Oh my God. Gosh, Trump, man, just so outrageous.
So these are freighters.
Yeah. Apparently another one's gone down in the North Sea, and there was one a few weeks ago which caught fire. And of course, as we know, Russia has been patrolling waters and stuff. Not that they can be blamed for absolutely everything, but they have been there. One card pull to see if there's something suspicious, or is this maybe just bad luck? If we get watery cards, maybe it is just Neptune. Let's have a look. All right, one card pull. Are we ready? All right, after three. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, okay. So Lena, how do you interpret your card? These are quite complex, these cards.
Yeah, these aren't just easy peasy. I think it could be sabotage on some level. Also wanting to, a combination of getting attention, but also holding someone hostage for the safe passage of ships. They might be building up to that or something.
Sheila, how do you interpret your card?
I think mine kind of correlates with self-imposed problems, the possibilities of the self-imposed action that they're doing. So it's almost like somebody knows what they're doing and what they shouldn't be doing. That was an accident. But that guy,
right.
So,
Fascinating. Lady G, how do you interpret your card?
Well, we all know what this card is. It's, my card for Trumpenstein. So somewhere behind there, he's got some involvement, someone in his cabinet.
And I get the Four of Pentacles, which we know is trying to conserve something, trying to hold on to something, trying to preserve something. So what this says to me is that someone has an interest in these container ships, and if they are falling, the sabotage is because someone's trying to maintain some kind of dominance or some kind of influence in regards to that cargo, whatever it is. But I suspect that it does seem a little bit fishy. It's not obvious. They're not obvious. It's not like lead out cards. It's something quite subtle. It could be someone or a group playing a game on the wider stage while the world is so distracted and and preoccupied. We just don't have the bandwidth, but someone's trying to conserve and protect something there. So I'd say more likely than not. Oh, right. Okay. Let me just read some reaction from you guys. So
something just came. I just wanted to say real quick. Something just came to me. Currency, like these ships are currency. I'll give you that ship if you give me that. I'll tell you where that one's at. I'll tell you what's on that one. It's like currency out there. That's what I kind of got.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. They have a lot of wealth in there. So Desiree says, what kind of karma do we all have that brought this to us? Remember, this is also the Pluto return, guys. So it's a biggie. Yeah. Once every 250 years, put in there. So it's a lot of stuff piling up. Mercury Angel said, no surprise, Navarro is making stuff up. This entire admin is making up stuff as they go. Absolutely. And Terry saying, sweet Sheila, I know how you're feeling. I can speak much on the sheet show. She's saying, or I will lose it on the daily. Yeah, it's just so beyond. You almost feel like you can run. It's hard to even start to articulate the emotions after a while because it's so overwhelming. It's just so.
And it is the world.
The world, yeah, the world held to ransom by this lunatic, just absolute lunatic. All right, another one card pull coming up, and this is coming from Ashley Song. And they say, will SCOTUS let the orange Hitler get away with the mass deportations to El Salvador? So let's look at that. Let's do a one card pull because we're going to speed through and then we're going to do some full card pulls on some really meaty questions that have come in at the end. So one card pull. Will SCOTUS let the orange Hitler get away with the mass deportations to El Salvador? SCOTUS. Will they let them get away? All right. Are we ready, ladies? All right. After three. 1, 2, 3. Ooh. Well, okay. So, Lena, how do you interpret your card?
Well, with this card that traditionally is the ships coming in, for the last 2 years, I've been saying you also have to put your ships out to get them to return. And so my answer to it for now is yes, they will let them get away with it for now. 3s are early in the story. Yeah.
Mine is healing.
Sheila, how do you interpret your card?
Yeah, mine is healing, and it's really like, is this going to be a spot in their decision making that may switch them, they've already decided to let the guy from Maryland stay. So they're already in the lane of letting all of these prisoners stay. So I'm trying to think of the healing. Healing, it has a lot to do with you. How do you heal? You have to bring up the crap, look at it, and then walk through it in order to heal. So I think this may be a metaphor for that. Like, you guys need to really look at this and get to the other side. But I do think that they're going to follow down that lane for quite some time before they realize that it's not the right thing.
Right. Lady G, how do you interpret your card?
Well, says it all. They gave him all the control, and again, they're still behind it, still letting him be King Midas over there.
Indeed, and yeah, my card seems to concur that. Look, we've got the Knight of Wands, which we know is about energy, rising up to take action, but it's also the shadow of this card is recklessness, impulsiveness. I mean, really, can the SCOTUSes really wind this back now when they've basically said he's a king? I mean, that's basically what they said, and they did that. Yeah,
they did that, and the key thing legally is they have to be pressured to reverse that immunity decision. And unless they're prepared to do that at this point, America doesn't have a Supreme Court. It has a giant rubber stamp.
Yeah. It's just remarkable. Just to give a bit more reaction as before we go into next question. So Kathleen's saying patriarchy is playing the last act in their diabolical 2025 play. There is that. Someone says, sort of jokingly, but a little bit of grim joke, but it makes sense. Martha says, maybe we can C-section to get this new world birthed sooner. There's that element there.
It's important to remember, guys.
Yeah, and then some Foxy Roxy says, but it is those that are backing him up and allowing all of this. Yes. Absolutely. They're just as bad. If anything, they are worse, because we all know what Trump is. We don't have to. Thank you, Rondaroo, for your kind donation. And all these people are saying, "Oh, I didn't vote for this," and oh, look what he's doing. Look, come on. They just need to drop the act. He's been talking about tariffs from the get-go. He talked about it first term, and this one he underlined it, exclamation mark, highlighter penned it. It was very, very clear he had intentions, didn't he, for tariffs. All right, so this is another one card pull, but we're going to have a Shakespeare on this one. And I've labeled this question Trump Gaza, but Nick Mink says Netanyahu visited the tariff twat, she says. I don't know if we can say that. Can we say that? That's a bit of a rude word, isn't it?
It's okay. Americans don't use it.
Yeah. We'll leave it at that. We won't embellish further. Do the cards show that they have planned further destruction of Gaza between them to monopolize on clearing it for their own gain? So of course this is talking about Trump Gaza. One card pull, and then we'll ask Shakespeare about Netanyahu. I don't think we've done Netanyahu yet. Oh gosh, it's just the diabolical upon the diabolical. We're going to have to invent new words for this time.
Yes.
Because every 10 minutes, Duck Larange does something that in previous years would have ended a presidency.
Oh, and he does it 3 times a day.
Yeah, it's just astonishing. All right. Trump Gaza. What's that all about? One card pull. Okay. Are we ready? So after 3. All right. 1, 2, 3. Oh. Wow. Okay, yep. Lena, how do you interpret your card?
That's what they're going for. Look at this card.
Does that say back passage?
Dark passage.
Dark passage.
Dark passage of time for Gazans.
Oh, God. Not good, is it? Sheila, how do you interpret your card?
I got the Hermit too. You know, all of the little plans behind the scene. Nobody knows, that quiet talk, that, you know, that late night dump on the toilet where he's talking to Netanyahu on the floor. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lady G, how do you interpret your card?
Well, birds are usually the conversations, but yeah, conversations about the struggle, about the fight and things that they're doing there.
Gosh, it's just so awful, isn't it? Oh, look, the doggy's here. And then look, I get the moon. We all know this card. You never want to see this card. This card, of course, can talk about, well, not only lunacy, mental illness and stuff. I mean, there can be some positives with this card, but secret assignations at night, nothing being clear. Here we've got the crab, you know, or the lobster crawling out, showing the deep subconscious. And of course, this is the battle between domesticity and the wild bestial instincts. So they're kind of trying to find a way to kind of make it look as good as possible, but really their desires. I mean, Trump always confesses to his crimes. He put that video out. Netanyahu was next to him on the sun lounger. It's obscene, you know. They want to do it. Wow. All right, so let's have Shakespeare on Netanyahu. I don't think we've had Netanyahu, or it's been a very long time.
I think it's a while ago. It might be a year or two ago.
Yeah, it must be at least a year or two ago since we've done Netanyahu. So let's see if the Bard is updated. I can't even remember what the Bard said about him last time. Who read last week? Was it Sheila? I think it was you read last week, wasn't it? Right. So Lady G, it's your turn to pick. You know the drill. Tell me when to stop, and we'll get the Bard's opinion on Netanyahu.
Stop.
Oh. Oh, interesting. We've not had this one. And it says here, this is from As You Like It. And we'll see what's on the other page. Oh, yes. Okay. So from As You Like It, it says, chide God for making you the countenance you are. Wow.
Ooh.
So that is like, chide means to chastise. Chastise God for making you the countenance you are. Wow. And then on the next page, this is from Henry VIII. It says, his curses and blessings touch me alike. Their breath I not even believe in.
Oh,
wow. Very interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's so indicative of what his character is like. That kind of very, very slippery, clever, unfortunately, but you know, he has all sorts of machinations. He's one of the most Machiavellian politicians out there. He really is. Anyway, that's the Bard on that. All right, are we ready for the next question, ladies?
Yep.
Yes.
All right, let's go through. So this is, now this may be seen as a flight of fancy, but if you guys have any more on this, and this will be another one card pull, and then we're going to get into some biggies where we get some big cards in. So this is coming from Manuela Orchid. Thank you, Manuela, for your question. And it's about Canada. She said, hi, Hoagies and ladies. I hope you all have a lovely evening. I'm already sleeping because she lives in Germany, but be listening in tomorrow. My question for today will be if Canada will really be part of the EU. I don't know anything about this, but I don't know if this is something she's read or something that's been spoken about.
It's being talked about.
Really? Wow. Okay. Wow. So my question for today would be if Canada will really be part of the EU, and Hoagie, could you take a look when you've got time if Algol is in Putin's chart too? Much love, Manuela. So to answer that part, I did take a look at Putin's chart, and he doesn't have any planets conjunct the star Algol yeah, which is the star of treachery, which I should also say, Uranus is becoming exact on that star, 13th, 14th, and 15th of April, becoming exact. Remember, heads could roll. This is the star of deposition, endings, losing your head, which you've already seen. Anything can happen. Anyway, so the question is, one card pull, will Canada potentially become part of the EU? I mean, you can't make this stuff up.
I have to say, I like the new Prime Minister of Canada. I don't know if Canada does, but I'm sure enjoying this guy. He's like a plain talker. He's got a really good head on his shoulder, and he has this. He has like I don't know, confidence. I love the confidence in him.
And excuse me, he's a banker, etc., etc. But both his parents were teachers.
Yeah.
And I think that says a lot.
Yeah,
he feels the people. Okay, Canada, EU.
All right.
And he's extremely seasoned as well. Extremely seasoned and experienced. Okay, after 3. 1, 2, 3. Ooh. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So, Lena, how do you interpret your card?
Well, it's an ace, so there's a yes vibe, but there's piercing the crown here, which to me represents having a go at the Yeti. I think they'll come to an agreement where it's not technically part of the EU for geography, but an allied country to the EU.
Wow. Sheila, how do you interpret your card?
Well, mine says it's the star, but in this deck it says universal alignment. So they're going to be aligned.
It's an alignment, exactly what it is.
With them. So I say, yeah, whatever Lena just said, yeah, the alignment.
Wow. Wow. Lady G, how do you interpret your card?
Well, he's blowing his horn, but usually this is my card for Democrats and democracy. So yeah, they're going to wind up going with the best place that's going to promote democracy.
Wow. Yeah. And do you think maybe there might be some kind of announcement, because a horn is normally blown when a big announcement is about to be made?
Yes.
Wow. And I'm thinking what that star, what Algol is going to bring. Algol deals with severance, separation. Oh, I've just remembered something. Gavin Newsom. Do you know, apparently Gavin Newsom has been saying he wants to trade separately with China. Do you remember I was talking about states and stuff might be breaking away? So maybe we can look at that next week. My card here, I get the Hanged Man. Now, of course, normally this card is associated with stillness, things not moving forward, etc. However, let's not forget, and of course the ladies will agree, the Hanged Man also deals with a change of perspective, a completely different perspective.
Yeah.
I really do believe, according to the EU's chart, it is going through a renaissance, and we've got another EU question coming up. This is, I think this is the whole world. I think this is the whole world just getting a completely different perspective on this. We're all hanging in suspense as Duc Larange treats international affairs like an episode, a cliffhanger in one of his reality TV shows, which is why he's doing it. But I just feel the whole world has got a different perspective now. We're ready for something else. So it could well be the case. I mean, look, if Australia can be part of Eurovision, then surely Canada can be part of
possible. Good point, Hogan.
Hey, why not? Different perspective.
Exactly. And also we associate EU with NATO, and NATO is North Atlantic Treaty Organization. So if Canada's going to be there, I think it'll be both those things will be brought into the umbrella. Or under the umbrella.
Because really, it's not such a big leap, is it? And you mentioned as well, Sheila, Mark Carney. Now, why is Mark Carney so significant? Of course, he has to win the upcoming election, which I think his chances have greatly improved.
Yes.
But he is a very significant character because he was the head of a Canadian bank. But let's not forget, he was also the governor of the Bank of England.
Yes. Had to do the whole Brexit horror show, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So he has extreme experience. Yeah.
We have 2,800 people in here.
Wow.
Yes, indeed. I was about to say yes. Thank you. You read my mind, Sheila. And thank you as well so much to Maris Bosa for your donation. And thank you, Teresa Spriggs, as well for your donation. Much appreciated. Okay, are we ready for the next question? Now we're going to full card pulls here. Right. Yeah, leaving the heavyweights to the end. All right. So question number 5. Nick Minks again. But this is a really interesting one, and this is kind of about Europe. So they say Germany's conservatives under Friedrich Merz have reached a deal with the Social Democrats to govern Europe's biggest economy. 5 months after the previous government collapsed, which we all saw. Will Germany's economy now grow stronger with hopefully more stable leadership? And then I've put in brackets down here, Europe will likely have a renaissance, which I predicted looking at their chart, which I put on my financial channel, and I'll put that in the link below. But as Lena confirmed, that maybe not this. There is also talk of the euro. In fact, I'll leave that bit. Let's pull, and then I'll add that little bit at the end.
Okay.
So will Germany's economy now grow stronger with hopefully more stable leadership? Full card pull, full card.
You're doing a full card, huh?
Yeah, full card pull on this one. We've got time. Now, question number 6 is a whopper. Absolute. Yeah.
Okay, I can go if you like.
Go for it, Lena.
All right, it kicks off with the Wheel of Fortune. So we've got to remind ourselves, while all this horror is unfolding, there's a greater purpose at play. And part of that is, I'll just say briefly, the wealth inequality is a global phenomenon. However, in the US, it's particularly crude. And so it's time. This is talking about Germany's economy, but it's not all roses. Okay, here are some cards. They're not wanting to have to do this straight away. They're just finding their feet as a new coalition government, and they have to deal with all this. The slow-moving knights, so the desire to steady the ship. It then comes to working together. All these cards are not woo, they're about solidity, and we are talking about Germany. But yes to the question in the end, because of communication between these three. What this has done is, in so many countries where this party would whinge and complain about the other party endlessly, suddenly people within their own countries and with their neighbours are behaving differently. And indulge me one more minute. I wrote down a comment on another channel that someone wrote last night in relation to this sort of question. How is the EU going to go forward? And it was about how badly paid American workers are. And this comment said, it's a generalization, but I think you'll get what I mean. Americans look down on low-paid workers, and Europe looks down on companies who pay low wages. It's a fundamental difference in how you view your economy.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to add that.
Fascinating. Sheila, what do you have?
Well, my cards say there's up and down.
Yeah.
Not a straight line
No.
to this. For one thing, they do have, they start off a little nurturing and stuff like that and have a lot of empathy. However, that creates some sort of problems with people. For some reason, I'm watching this economy and watching the people, and I just realized with my cards that when they offer gentleness, most Germans reject the gentleness. They feel manipulated of some sort because it says like they feel hopeless when they get gentle. And that was like really surprising to me. But when it comes down to it, they are shattered. They have to get down to the gritty, and then they will start to heal. I have the healing card here. So there is some healing, but to be careful. They can't just step off into love. They have to step down slowly and get
this is what I get, these slow cards.
Yes.
Yeah.
Slowly, let's gently take them in there, because if they go too fast, they will self-sabotage themselves. So that's kind of, I know. I was like really shocked. I'm like, I've never really looked into the German people, but yeah, they are some rough people.
I think you're right.
Some crap.
Interesting.
And gentleness to them looks like weakness. So they have to manage better. They have to manage it right. So I hope that they do. They do get the healing card. So.
Right.
Lady G, what cards did you get?
Well, underneath of it, they're starting with something new information coming out about the health of the situation. There's going to be standing out on a new truth, but putting some endings in place. It's about what they're giving out, what they're going to be handing out to the community. And on the world stage, they're going to be cutting some things. So there will be some, and the challenges, the choices they're going to make about control, how they're going to control the situation. And they're going forward, and I would say getting new alliances, new friends that they're going to be trading with, etc.
It's fascinating. Ladies, I've got very complex cards as well. This is why I wanted to do a full card pull on this, just to see what your talents would bring out. And all of us are getting things that are like, ooh, things to look out for. Is not clean cut by any stretch of the imagination, guys. All of our cards are quite subtle, quite complex. Just want to say some thank yous. Teresa, thank you so much. Tobiah, thank you so much. And Leslie, thank you so much. Right. Oh, okay. Look at this. All right. So the first card I get at, which is Germany's economy, how will it do? This isn't so encouraging. Yeah, we got the 7 of Cups. Now, this card can deal with illusions and delusions, but it also deals with choices. A multiplicity of choices, sometimes even feeling overwhelmed by the choices that you have to make. Now, it makes sense, doesn't it? Because they're in coalition. The previous coalition failed, and it means that there are many voices that they're having to listen to, consult to. Let's not forget, even though the AfD didn't win, they came second. Yeah. So they do have influence over this. We see there's baubles in here. There's all sorts of kind of crazy stuff. So they're probably having to hear a lot of different things and factor in a lot more than they're used to. Now, normally this is a very positive card. However, when it turns up in the obstacle position, the sun can be tricky. But it's talking about illumination. It's talking about clarity. The way I interpret this is one of my favorite German words, which is realpolitik. I think the realpolitik has come in now because the illumination on the whole world, of course, is that Duck L'Orange is an absolute, nutbag. There's no other way for it. They're calling him the Mad King, and I think that's what he should be called. So this is also the illumination, the reality, the enlightenment, I suppose, in a way the world has come into, is also an obstacle. if we look here, challenges, yeah, there is an element here where I think the German people themselves are feeling like they're not as successful. They don't feel as bountiful as they did before. This is something that they've spoken a lot about. They've always been very secure. Their institutions that they rely on, even Volkswagen, who is one of the sacred kind of cows in Germany, things are tottering. So I don't think they're feeling like they're at full confidence. They feel that the nation is sick in some kind of way. However, there are deals that they are prepared to make. They do want to do things for trade, goods, partnership. I think they want to stay part of the EU. However, look at the outcome card. Eight of Cups. There's a part. It's almost there's a faction in Germany that maybe they want to go it alone in their own way. I know that sounds completely ludicrous for me to say. However, we are in unusual times. I don't think it's clear cut how Germany's economy is going to go in the future, although there is talk about making the euro the reserve currency. I think that maybe is for another show, but I think it's complex, and isn't it, ladies? It's not straightforward in Germany.
Yes.
It's just not
well, it's like California having such a huge economy all on its own, like the fifth biggest, and been subsidizing the red states forever, etc. And Germany's probably feeling a bit like that, but I think they'll work through it.
Yes, because maybe they feel like they're subsidizing the poorer countries within the EU. Maybe there's that element there as well. Yeah. Wow.
At the same time, I think there's also another issue with that poverty card, people not feeling it. I think this was a problem for the Dems in a way too, because even though Biden's economy met every benchmark and they were doing good things, which we're finding about still now when the farmers talk and everything, oh, the Biden government was doing this and that. The problem is people didn't feel it on the ground.
Correct.
And I think that's true in most countries, you know.
Yeah, they don't. The Germans don't feel. When I talk to my German friends, they say they don't feel wealthy anymore. They just don't feel like they have the usual kind of papa, that quiet confidence of, you know, money in the bank and stuff like that. So it's a factor. Are we ready for the next question, ladies?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, here we go. So I just want to say thank you, Joanne. Thank you so much, Cheerio, and thank you, Cheerio, for your for your kind donation. All right, this is a big one. Yeah. Now, what I want to read out in advance. I know this person is Canadian, so their question has a bit more teeth and bile in it than you would expect. Yeah, remember the Canadians are not so happy with the administration. They don't blame Americans, but they blame the administration. So here we are. So factor that in when I read this out. So Jerry Geld says, she says, rest in peace, US democracy. So she's not holding back. Yeah. She said, your checks and balances have failed you. It began when Biden allowed for the peaceful transfer of power, knowing full well what was going to happen. If I could see it coming, then so could others. The three executive branches are corrupt, allowing fascism to overtake your democracy. So she's not held back. Tell us how you really feel, Jerry. My question is, will there be a military coup from within America anytime soon to overthrow this regime and restore sanity? I told you it's a whopper.
It's a whopper.
It's a whopper. Let's take a look. Wow.
Yeah, and we have over 3,000 now.
Wow.
Oh, yes.
The thing about it is the shift from Saturday to here, we haven't lost our.
Yes, thank you guys for tuning in over here.
Indeed. Yes, thank you guys for tuning in. And of course, please don't forget as well to like and subscribe. And actually, Sheila, you remind me that 45% of you that watch the channel are not subscribed. So that's almost half of you. So please support this channel. Consider, you know, clicking the old subscribe. Remember, it is free and it will help this content reach a wider audience. But thank you. Yes, over 3,148 of you here right now. Oh,
this is big.
And we're doing a full
full card spread, full Monty on this because it's huge. But just to see, will there be a military coup from within America anytime soon to overthrow this regime and restore sanity? Oh, that really would be the Algol star in action, wouldn't it? Because it deals with coups, overthrowing, all that kind of stuff as well. Career ending, assassinations, all sorts. Oh, I still think JD Vance is going to slip something into Trump's Coca-Cola, to be honest. I still feel he's the most dangerous person in his sphere. He really wants it. He really, really wants to be president.
He thinks he already is.
Yeah.
He knows how stupid Trump is. He thinks he already is.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Trump will know it. This is the thing with Duck L'Orange. He has that reptilian instinct. He knows, but at the same time, he's kind of locked him in a cupboard in a little bit, but he's letting Vance have these little bits and bobs, but nothing really, really substantive apart from sending him to Greenland.
The problem for Vance, well, one of the many problems for Vance, is he's not essentially likable. And if he's making the play for the big chair, he should be cultivating alliances now, not destroying them.
Yeah, I didn't say JD Vance was smart.
No, he's not stupid, but he's actually not that strategic. It's a different brain.
That is so totally different. You're right.
He's a bad politician. That's the problem. He's a bad politician.
He could be very cleverly cultivating these relationships and sign into and have international things. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Shall I lead off on the big one here? Well,
go for it, Lena.
The main thing to note is I've got no majors, which
really? Yeah.
Which to me is an indication. Not yet, not now. So, but given it, look, the US and that's the world are trying to find a way through this stuff, right? Fake happy families. This is the Republicans. They're not there yet. They're splintering off day by day, but they're not there yet. This is fake family values, fake everything. They're not there. People are feeling the loss and the regret of their vote.
401k.
Protests will grow. The protests were fantastic. Coming forward, I think there's more likely to be a legal outcome in some sense that is meaningful. Again, the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court's not there yet. They are not throwing themselves across the threshold to save democracy yet, but I think they're almost going to be forced to. But at the end, here's the victory card. So perhaps at some point, everything's happening so fast, what would have taken 4 years, 8 years, 10 years will happen in months the way it's going. But ultimately, there's the victory card, which may mean the army and troops will have to back up the Supreme Court if they finally do something dramatic and meaningful to save the nation.
Wow. Sheila, what cards do you have?
Well, my first card up was this one, the mind manipulation. You know how they think that they have got all of the players in at hand. They really do think, and they probably do have a lot of the players with their thing. But then I got this one, and I'll read the rest of mine, but I want to sing this little song. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. Humpty Dumpty could not be put back together again by all of his king's men and his king's horses. No, I don't know the exact. Somebody else will do. But this was my first thing. He will fall, and so will the rest of them will fall. Therefore, there's going to be a new beginning, a new thought process, dead relationships at hand, the burden of putting the country back together, and the possibilities of what we're going to have to deal with. Now, these last two cards were really weird because I got the Lovers and Legal. And my first impression was the Lovers and the Legal. I've said this for a while on my channel. The people who are going to take him down are going to be his own people.
Yes.
Quite some time.
Yes.
So it's the people who loved him are going to take him down.
Yes.
With the lawyers, the courts,
and MAGA.
And MAGA, yeah. So I know that on us side, we don't put any faith and or trust in them. However, there's an element of them that even Trump cannot pass. He cannot walk through this threshold, and that is to hurt them. And he's going to hurt them. So that's what I got.
All right. Lady G, what do you have?
Well, underneath of it all, we have the standing energy, the knockdown, and continuing to try to struggle through this. Now, the reading's about the great manipulation, making it go away. But things are up in the air when it comes to that. Then the going into it, the energy coming into it, as the swords are falling. And they're trying to temper things as much as they can. But what's going on now? There are some hidden things taking place. So the hidden things are the worry, the concern, and about how to bring this forward, how to move us out of this time into something better. I got the same one as you, Lena, the Six of Swords. Trying to navigate through.
Yeah.
The challenge is actually taking place, making it happen. And it's a big burden that they're carrying about it. Potential outcome when it comes to the sword, taking up the sword, they're planning. They're actually working on things behind the scenes.
Yeah. That gives heart too. Yeah.
Yeah. Fascinating. And I just want to add, oh my goodness. Thank you, Rosalind. Thank you, Cheerio. Thank you again. Thank you, Miss DJ. And thank you, Azon. Thank you so much. Now, look, some comments here, which I thought was just cupped up here. Chris Cool. Stock market manipulation and insider trading seems a lot like a kind of impeachable high crime. I wish Congress had the numbers to oust him once and for all. Marjorie Taylor Greene, I think, Sheila, you were talking about as well. She's been implicated with some fishy moves. Surprise, surprise. And then Josie B said, China tweeted video of Reagan giving reasons why tariffs are bad. Did you see that?
You should see it. If you haven't watched it, it's absolutely gobsmackingly fabulous. And I'm not a Reagan fan, as you all know.
Exactly. It was the perfect riposte to it.
Yes.
It was so clever. It was so succinct. They were able to say everything they needed to say by using one of the ones that are the hallowed priests of the GOP, which you could say he's one of the architects of much of this anyway, in a funny way. But the fact that in terms of like the modern kind of oligarchy in America, but it was very apt, very apt. All right, so will there be a military coup? Not sure. However, I think, again, this is talking about, look at this. I think this is talking about the rest of the world. I think I've picked up here on how the rest of the world. So this is the rest of the world looking on. particularly China. Remember, China is very associated with the color red as well, and of course is one of the world's merchants. Yeah, so this can represent China, but I think this is just the world pondering global trade, everything that is going on. If we look here, aggression is being considered. It is shown up in the it's shown up in the obstacle position, and this is an aggressive, often violent card. It really is associated with military attacks and stuff like that. Let's not forget, China have gone on the record. Their diplomat said, you know, basically all options are on the table. Yeah. China said they're not going to back down. And they said it could be trade war or any other kind of war. We're going to do it. And for China to say that, that is not a joke, and that should not be just flicked off. Yeah. And this card has shown up. So I'm not sure if it would be from within America. It's looking like it might be from without. Yeah. If we look here, though, we do have the Queen of Wands in the middle. And as you know, I associate the Wand suite with entrepreneurship, but particularly the King and Queen. But this is about gathering. This is about negotiation. I think this is about the world coming together to make their own deals. You see, coming together. But in terms of what would it be for the thing to get rid of Trump if they were, it's to do with the rich people maybe feeling poor. Yeah. Here, this is the benefactor who's dishing out the crumbs. But one feels that maybe it's gone the other way round recently. Yeah. Even the rich, if we just think of the douchebaggery that stood up in the inauguration day, Mark Zuckerberg was one of the biggest losers of money. Elon, of course, has lost a stack. So has Jeff Bezos. And many others. So they're not feeling quite so generous anymore. They probably feel, I mean, obviously they're still super rich, but this is also people's 401ks. Yeah. This is people seeing their coins go to penury as well. And I think this is the big wake up call. So it's all to do with the money. If the stock market rebounds to either the same or similar levels it was before, then these rich merchants, they'll be feeling rich again, and they'll be like, well, maybe it wasn't so bad. Yeah. But if everyone continues to feel poor, I think that's when you'll see the action within. But to me, it looks like the aggressive moves are being taken by the rest of the world, and China in particular. They have yet to respond, of course, to the 125% tariffs that have been thrown on them. China is waking up around about now. So this is more to come, folks. That's my spin. Anything to add, ladies? Can you believe how quick the time is?
One of the comments here from Talon Young, Pentecostal prophets are now telling millions of followers that God has passed Trump's anointing onto Vance.
Oh!
But what's interesting is they're now bypassing Duc L'Orange. They can see him, you know, collapsing or falling out of the picture or something.
Because of the 401ks. Because they've lost money. They feel like they're begging now. And look, the judgment call, the wake-up call. Is this what it takes to wake up the evangelicals? Not the fact that Trump is just diabolical.
No, that's not
money. Now that right, folks, that has gone in an absolute flash. I am exhausted, I must confess. It's who knows what we're going to wake up to tomorrow. So I just want to say, folks, keep your chins up. Yeah, keep your chins up. We just have to ride this through. Like I said, this administration is going to do stuff that has never ever happened before. This is Uranus's last pass over the star Algol. It has not, all the dice have not been played yet. It will peak 13th, 14th, and 15th of April, which is just a few days from now. It will be at the absolute zenith, We'll be seeing all these things with treachery, etc. Let's see how it plays out. Let's hope the right heads roll. Let's put it that way. We've got over 3,462 of you that joined us live tonight. Mwah! Big love.
And
Thank
go
you so
the
much.
hands-off protests.
Yes, lots of
Yes.
That was such an amazing turnout everywhere. Massive.
Yeah. And there's more planned, isn't there? So protest,
Yes.
protest, folks.
Because it gives you energy and you don't feel so isolated. And you can support, even if you don't have the mobility to go, you can still support with the organizing and stuff.
energy is important.
Energy is everything.
Everything. Energy, what we put forth out into the world, it's everything. Everything.
Yeah.
They can't fight that.
Yeah, it's true. And they do notice it. So it all works, folks. But look, one foot in front of the other. We will be back, of course, next week. Goodness knows what's going to happen, even by the end of tomorrow, let alone next week. But one foot in front of the other. Protest. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. And hopefully we can all come through the other side on this. But I just want to thank everyone for joining us. Thanks so much. Don't forget, of course, to like and subscribe and share. Please support this channel. 45% of you that watch have not yet subscribed. Please do. And we will see you, of course, next week. So big love, everyone, and bye-bye for now. Yeah.
Oh, and thank you, GC Boy, for passing on the message. Thank you.
Ah, wonderful. All right. Bye-bye for now.